Good afternoon. My name is Sarai H Ajai. Today is October 31st, 2018. The time is 12:51 p.m. And thanks for watching the second video. I'm going to go through my daily journal that I wrote on October 17, 2018, what I have experienced during that time while shopping in a major grocery store. For legal purposes, I cannot give their names. I can either misspell it or give it a symbolic letter. So I will give you M-I-J-E-R. I know it's misspelled. However, I'm going to use a symbolic letter M to describe it, okay? For no apparent reason. Like I said, I either have a homeless code, a black code, a transgender code, a same-sex code, and I am constantly harassed by customers, employees, and employers for no apparent reason. I never applied at any retailer stores as an employee. I don't know how they got to my information. Only one that I have released my information to will be the rental agency. Now, whether it was compromised through there, I don't know. I'm usually extremely careful with my possessions. I don't leave things in the house, in my apartment, because I know I was a victim of theft. They're known for stealing from me. They like to steal from me. And their anger is that I keep my business briefcase with me. And they're angry because I won't leave my business briefcase in my apartment so they can steal from me. That's another reverse psychology game. They follow me around about they call it bag. It's not a bag. It's only my business effects. If I leave it here, things have been stolen from me here, where I'm living now, that I had to file police reports for. I notice my clothes are missing, and then they're returning my clothes once I notice it's missing out of my closet. There was a cactus. There was a pair of pants I was looking for on Wednesday, and it wasn't there. When I got back, those pants were in that closet. They're stealing from me and then returning my things when they steal from me. Or they're stealing papers, important papers. My taxes were stolen from me. A few years ago. And I just went down to the laundry room. I noticed I keep my bags locked up, and they unlock the bags too to get what they need. So they play these reverse psychology games trying to get to my bag so they can take advantage of me. They need something out of my bag in order to personate me, and they can't get to it. So I have all these people show up in the stores. I'm suspicious that they have surveillance cameras. I'm being watched in my apartment, because as soon as I leave my apartment, everybody seems to jump in their car, or they come out and abuse me. Verbal assault me for no apparent reason. They tell me they hate me. I hear it all the time. They hate me. They hate me. And I have no connections to them. Don't even know who they are who hate me. So I'm going through my journal that I typed up. So if you see my eyes shifting, I'm kind of using my PC as a teleprompter. And I'm looking at the video camera and then I'm looking over at my PC. So I can tell you, read what happened to me on October 17, 2018. I was unable to sleep. So I was up all night. So I've been up since 1:24 a.m. I was out of food. I rarely ever go out of the house like I used to when I lived 196 miles northwest from here. And I arrived at M store at approximately 11:13 a.m. At approximately 12:15 p.m. on Wednesday, October 2018, M employees and customers began to single me out or list me as a black code or list me as a homeless person, or whatever they do when they code people. I noticed that there were people always following me around, or customers or employees of the store. So the verbal harassment started around that time about my son being abused by gay men and stalking me in the grocery, taunting me in the grocery store for no apparent reason. At approximately at 12:34 p.m., I'm shopping in M produce section and notice a male wearing a hoodie over his thick winter hat. His face was so covered up, I couldn't tell what race or nationality he was. I couldn't even tell. Plus, I'm having difficult seeing as well with glasses on. I thought to myself, how strange, for today weather is extremely mild, fall brisk cool, however not winter cold, and he was so covered up. His face didn't even show, I couldn't even tell, but I was at a distance to make out his ethnic features or race color. He was accompanied by a Caucasian female, and both of them stood near to the lettuce produce section. The male voice had echoed from where I stood from a distance, where the identified race male wearing the hoodie over his thick winter hat stated, "We have watched your son continuously being gang raped onto the surveillance camera that was made public. And we enjoyed watching him being gang raped." I was extremely upset and started to cry. The second customer was a facial harassment. Our tall, slender Caucasian man approached me, walking in the opposite direction. As he passed by me in the produce section, he stuck out his tongue and started to roll his tongue around his lips. And a psychological harassing me by physical nonverbal communication, purely expressive display. This should have been captured on M surveillance camera. The third M, customer showed empathy for me. I'm standing in an aisle selecting food from the shelf, and a Caucasian man had stated, "Them ends," he used the N word, "held your son down while the rest of those gay men gang raped your son until your son bled from the anus. Because you will not date black men for no apparent reason." And I was wailing in tears under that surveillance. I noticed the store do have African American employees. But that day, I didn't see a one. Not a one. The fourth incident, an M employee had passed by me in the aisle and stated, "We are angry because we cannot gay you. We hate you so much. That's why we gang raped your son." Now that's started at between 12:34 p.m. and I text from my daily journal, and then I open up a new text at 1:06 p.m. The fifth M customer stated, "Gay men had gang raped your son because you will not date black men. And gay people can no longer impersonate you." Now I'm extremely upset and continue to cry. I open up another text at 1:17 p.m. At M customer, a Caucasian female stated, "You cannot shop where you want to." While I'm walking in the aisle with my shopping cart. At 1:21 p.m., the seventh incident, an employee, while I was leaving aisle 8, an M employee, a short Hispanic or Indian descent male, was approaching me from the opposite direction carrying a large restock item cart with his tongue sticking out of his mouth, then stated, "We don't want you non-gay people shopping here in this store," end quote. At 1:56 p.m., the eighth incident, an employee, while I'm exiting the main store first door, someone shouted, I couldn't see behind my back, and quote, "We do not want you living in a rich area anymore," end quote. When I turned around and observed who said it, an employee, a Caucasian female standing by the fruit produce, restocking or pretending to restock the produce basket, because I did see a female there and she just kept staring at me. And she was the only one there near the door. For no apparent reason. These are major legal issues at this point, in my perspective. And I'm going to tell you why. In June of 2015, where I moved from, an Hispanic male approached me and told me that they shot my son in the head and pulled down his pants and found out he had a dick, end quote. He had a penis. And it was my fault. The Hispanic guy accused me. It was my fault because I had a high school diploma. Prior to him telling me this, I have frantically been trying to get in touch with my son. The last time I had spoke to my son is when I sent him money, and that was right before I moved. I think it was September sometime of 2014. September or October 2014. I think it was September 2014. In June of 2015, the Hispanic male approached me and told me that they shot him in the head. I lived there for 3 years, and my son had not contacted me once. Not once. I frantically called every institution. He doesn't live in the state. He hasn't lived in the state since May of 2005. Because I sent him to live with his dad to the neighboring state. I haven't heard anything from him until a few months ago. All of a sudden, he resurrected. I called every place. People had told me that they did kill him. And they were trying to disguise and make it look like they didn't kill my son. They were calling me. Now I hear a lot of static. They cut the call short. Like they cut the tape, made a tape of him, recorded tape, and then made it sound like him. I've seen these in movies. And I haven't heard nothing since. All of a sudden, I move here. I haven't heard anything from him for over 3 years. And all of a sudden, I hear from him. People did come to me and told me that they did kill him. And I know where he's buried. I'm going there next year to see for myself if he is. And they were trying to hide because they never told me that he was dead. All of a sudden, he just resurrected. I'm not sure who I'm talking to. This person is calling me now, who I was sending money to, or giving my old PC to. I don't know who that person is. I don't know. The incident that they're telling me about is something recently or something that happened many years ago. There were store employees at M store, knew about the incident because in that state he used to work at that M store. And this was around 2007, I believe. I know I visited him in November of 2006, and he was working. But then I guess he got another job, or Maybe there was somebody else that they put that case on. I'm not sure. But something terrible happened to him and ruined his life. And it has something to do with M's store. I had purchased his legal case, and I noticed in his legal case they had the misspelled name and a wrong address. For it to be a legitimate case, it has to be the correct spelled name and the correct legal address. And it was something about an Irish soap and a pair of socks that totaled $10.46. By their state law, their statute of prosecution is over $200. If he was employed at that store, if somebody was impersonating him, he should have been reprimanded or written up. But something else they did. That was awful. So they were taunting me and harassing me about my sons or what they did. That makes no sense. Because I have a high school diploma. They targeted him over my education. They told me they wouldn't help me. They told people not to help me. They play these psychological games on the telephone like I'm stupid. I don't catch on what they're doing to me. All because I have gone beyond high school and they can't personate me. They tried to kill me over my paperwork, my credentials. All I had. And they accused me of just sitting around. They wanted me to jump up and move there. My son, when I last saw him alive, in April 2008, he told me to promise him whatever happens, whatever he says, do not come there. Because he might not be alive. That's what he told me. He said, do not come to the state where I am. Because they will hurt you, Mom. For no apparent reason.